How important is it that the downtown be revitalized, and how would you go about doing it? And we'll start with Ms. Welch.
Thank you. I like that question. But I would like to finish the other one. I just addressed industrial development earlier. As far as the regional cooperation, it's absolutely crucial. We're going to have to do that to be able to get back on the radar in Montgomery, because in our area we've had some disagreements, and then we've had some colorful council meetings and that sort of thing. And I know that we're going to have to prove our fortitude and our professionalism, and we definitely need to do that to be considered again on a regular basis, and for all those jobs that are and those projects that are on the table. As far as downtown Anniston, most all of you know that I own a business in downtown Anniston, and I have served on the downtown revitalization program for 14 years. The downtown is a tremendous economic engine, just as McClellan is, just as our greater Anniston area is, just as our tourism is. There are huge ways to develop our city. However, it has not been, it has not made an impact on previous councils. However, recently in this fourth quarter, it has come up and has gotten some attention, and I'm certainly glad to see that. Tourism is the #1 industry in the United States and actually in the world. Tourism and downtown go hand in hand. We have fabulous opportunities. We are going to have to make an infrastructure investment in downtown to make us be appealing to the people we want to invite over. We need to do that through signage and professional signage and marketing, and the signs are distracting, and I'm sorry. But we do need to use our downtown as part of our recovery from the struggling situation that we've been, and it's key. Thank you.
Mr. Bradford, importance of downtown revitalization, and how would you do it?
Get rid of the taxes. 10% taxes. No. Taxes are regressive, not progressive. First thing I would do, no businessman, I'm a businessman for over 30 years. No businessman like taxes. I've had a businessman tell me, before we raised our tax to 10%, they was coming to Lowe's and all of the other stores that we have here out of Oxford to buy material, building material, because that 1 cent sale different benefited them because they buy in bulk. But once we implemented this 1 cent sales tax that's supposed to help the school, and I don't like the idea of passing a tax for the retirement of our firemen, policemen, and the other city officials gets nothing. The other city employees get nothing. Now, I believe that the firemen and the police needs to be taken care of, but this sounds like a special interest tax to me, because not everybody benefits from it. Get rid of the sales tax. And in fact, if I had my way, I would roll it back to 8%. Guarantee you we would have more sales downtown. So that would be one way. Anniston, I'm on the Anniston Public Building Authority. Anniston is actually 3 business sections, if you are. To the west of you will have your judicial system and DHR and the new police department. Downtown, the center downtown is actually your retail sale. To the east of us is our medical and some law attorney's office over there. So Anniston has 3 sides of it, and I think it's pretty good. If you want to go to your judicial system or have anything to do with that, you can go to the west side. All of it is there. Retail sales is here downtown Anniston, and the medical field is up there. Regress, get rid of that extra tax, and Anniston will do a heck of a lot better downtown itself. Thank you.
Mr. Locklier?
Yes, I think there's a lot of good ideas for the downtown. I touched on a little bit on my last question, but again, I want to I think we need to bring people downtown. I think we have a chance to have a perfect blend of arts, culture, recreation, and history. Many of you are aware of Gadsden and the success Gadsden has had. Well, I found out just a couple of weeks ago that the real architect of that work at Gadsden actually works for me out at Union Foundry. He was the financial guru that kind of ran that thing, and they used recreation and those type of things to bring people in and use that funding in turn to revitalize the whole downtown area. So I think that if we can bring ball games into town, we can bring groups into town, they're coming in and they're spending money. And we can use those revenues then in turn to generate jobs, market our city, bring in business. You know, they'll come if there's going to be people there, and they know there's going to be people there. Right now, there's nothing downtown in the evenings, hardly at all. You get down there and it's just real deserted. So we have to market our downtown area. I've talked to several downtown business owners, and they're just really depressed, the ones that aren't doing well. And they need help also, maybe some kind of consulting advice, but we all got to work together to put a plan together to market our downtown area. It's going to take a lot of people getting in a room and giving up a few things and sacrificing in order to make this thing work, because we can't keep going on and everybody doing their own independent little thing. We have to pull together and come together with a plan. And then once we get that plan together and we get things going, we can market that to businesses. I sort of in agreement on the 1% tax. That was one advantage that we had that's kind of gone away now. We have to figure out a way to generate revenue so that maybe we can drop that thing back in a couple of years. Red lights, one of my pet peeves. The city spends like $740,000 a year maintaining red lights and gas. If we could just cut out just a few of them, I know my cost of going to work would be a lot less.
Mr. James, you talked a little bit about McClellan. How important is downtown revitalization, and what would you do?
If you look at my answer to that question, I said vital. And if I am chosen to be represented as mayor for the citizens of this city, you have my word on this. The first act that I will perform as mayor, I will call 3 meetings within 10 minutes after I'm sworn in. One, where we be meeting here with every merchant on Wilmer, Noble, and Quintard from 4th to 22nd Street. And we'll hash out and try to set a foundation on what we want to build. The next meeting, a month or so later, will be to come back and rehash the things that you have worked out among yourself in that area. The third meeting will be with all the property owners down there to let them know what the merchants want to do. And then, of course, we'll take all that information back to city government and work with you to create a plan. But let's be realistic. I hear all the things that people want to do downtown. Show me the money. Where's the money going to come from? Also, you've got to walk a very tight rope there. You've got merchants outside of downtown who pay taxes, who depend on the competition to not eat them alive. So how can the city take their tax money and support someone who's in business against them? We also hear a lot of people wanting the city to give them grants or give them low interest or free loans. Where's that money coming from? Again, is that fair to their competitors who put out the capital and the time and the sweat to do their own work? There'll never be a big box downtown again. There'll never be a J.C. Penney's or Sears and Roebuck or Bell Customs down there like it was when I was a kid growing up. So we've got to take a realistic approach. But Anniston's downtown can thrive, but they're doing the same thing other cities have done. Build niche stores, antique shops, fudge shops, ice cream shops, and things of this nature to create foot traffic. And the city administration can go a long way in helping achieve that. Thank you.
I absolutely support the revitalization of downtown Anniston. I have fond memories, as many of you do, growing up in Anniston with a bustling Noble Street. And I think with the right leadership, we can have a vibrant downtown again. If you think about the cities that you go visit on weekends to get away, the Chattanoogas, the Asheville, North Carolinas, and etc., that all have vibrant downtowns, those things just didn't happen overnight. It took planning. And that would be one of the first things I would want to do is work with the Spirit of Anniston, get a consultant in here, Main Street approved. Let's start planning downtown revitalization. I think once we get a realistic plan, then the Spirit, or whatever the downtown revitalization organization is, can go and raise the money in the private community, because I think there would be enough excitement and enthusiasm of what it could be. We've got to get housing downtown. You've got to have a market downtown. You look at all these old photos of Anniston back in the 40s and the 50s with a bustling Noble Street. Behind those buildings are houses. And that's what supported downtown. Those houses are no longer there. We need to encourage loft living, and I would definitely make a point of that. We need to encourage investment downtown. We need to get in touch with these out-of-town landlords and find out what their motive is in owning their buildings. We've got to get a plan. But I think seriously, if we get a plan, we can do what Chattanooga and Asheville did. We can reinvent downtown. The Downtown Revitalization Committee will need to raise part of their own funds and then go to the city for matching funds. It will not be 100% funding from the city, much like the museum board does. Thank you.
Mr. Brant, you've already made some points about this. What else you got?
Just about I jumped the gun, I guess. But anyway, I would like to see a mall sitting somewhere in that area. We have to move with the changes. I would, like I said, I'm outside, I'm not inside. I don't want to promise something that I can't deliver. But I would like to see a mall or somewhere downtown. I would like to see a lot of businesses, not to quote McClellan. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure whether that's in the city or where, I don't know. But anyway, I think it's in the city. And if it's in the city, then we'll develop that. We'll make sure that gets developed. I don't understand why our architects in the city is not out there working. There's other people doing that work out there. You know, some things I have to learn. I have questions about it. But for the people there, working with other people in the surrounding area, first of all, Anniston residents come first. They come first. Now, I'll work with anybody. I know how to work with anybody. But my first priority is going to be for the citizens of Anniston. Thank you.
Well, having served as the director of the Spirit of Anniston, and served on the council and dealt with experts, you can designate the area in such a fashion that if property owners will not lease, build, or sell, there is a way that that can be done to force them to do that. That will help downtown. Now, tourism and all of the beauty and the historical preservations and historical buildings and historical things such as the Kilby House that I will refurbish, and all, I'm tired of people coming to events in Anniston and spending their tax dollars in Oxford at their hotels and restaurants. I want us to take control of the Victoria Inn, and I want downtown merchants to buy into it. Now, if we don't have employees that can run it correctly, then we can hire it and run it. I am interested in trying to develop an economic method so that people of wealth can buy into the package and end up with tax credit to write off their investment. we're gonna have to spend at least $250,000 on that facility to make it competitive. It's old and it's tired. Erland gave it to Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State controls it. I'm in communication with the company that is marketing it. It can do things. We can bring people downtown. They buy groceries, they buy restaurants, they buy hotel rooms, and we build a facility. And that gentleman tells me to stop.
Ms. Goodman?
I believe that downtown Anniston play a major role in the revitalization of the city of Anniston. And so many times, you know, I thought, as a citizen, I believe that division is one of the main things that's keeping us not coming together. I have a dream as being a citizen here that to establish our model city information hub. And what it would be like a center areas, it would be to secure a building that would house all resources. I'm still learning a resource that's available in the city. And one of the things would be to allow people to come in. A lot of times I look in the newspaper and there are meetings being held, but I wasn't aware of it. And I would be saying to myself, you know, I would like to go if I'd have known about it. I think a lot of people can't take the Anniston store, other like the radio at different times for the being working thing and stuff. But if we had something in place that would educate the people on what's happening in the city, if they need to know, bring them together. It's going to take volunteering, it's going to take resources, and all those kind of things that come together. It'll be a place where people can come downtown and be educated. Just this past week, I was seeing where there's a program in place called the Open Door. It's for homeless people, but it was the newspaper said they could come in and use their address and take a bath at the bridge and this kind of stuff. I wasn't aware of that. So there are so many things that we can use to bring us together as a community, to get rid of some of the division and unite us as a whole. Sometimes to go down and talk to people. I realize that knowledge is power. So we got a lot of things going on in the city of Anniston that we would just utilize and take advantage of them. So to have everything, all the different resources, there are many. I attended a conference here a few weeks ago that has so many resources. There are things in place for HIV victims. There are things in place for people coming out of prison and things. We have a lot of resources. So to get them in one place and house them, I'm sorry. I think that would be something we can use to unite us.
Thank you. Mr. Salmon, downtown revitalization.
I believe downtown revitalization can be done, but it needs to be done in a different manner than it has been. We just are in the process of building a $15 million jail that, we had to borrow the money to do. This was after the current council was left in the situation where there was only $100,000 in city debt. Now there's $15 million. And yet that's not going to present one additional penny of revenue. The new DHR building, I understand the state paid most of that, but it's moving 4 floors out of the Williamson Commerce Center that's been rented, that's now they're going to be vacant to compete with the Watermark Tower. Now, folks, we can't afford much more progress like that. We just can't. What I want to see the city do is aggressively market downtown, the empty storefronts, not only in downtown, but also on West 15th Street, South Layton, Lindlock, and Golden Springs. We're all in it together. And I think we should have an aggressive marketing, aggressive recruiting effort in all of those areas, because the bottom line is we've got to grow the tax base. There's no other way to get where we're going other than continued deficit spending and raiding the reserves like we've been doing, or continuing to borrow money. And neither of those, I think, is a viable option for the city. Thank you.
Mayor Robertson.
this administration has been very aggressive in this area, but because of the Great Recession, we don't have a lot of great results yet, but it's coming. Now, all over the nation, of course, we went from downtowns to malls, to strip malls, and now we're having a growth back downtown with specialty shops. Okay? What we've done, we've created a commercial development authority, a public building authority, and a new, totally new department that concentrates on development and planning. These are going to coordinate with a reconstituted downtown redevelopment authority and develop in downtown. Also, it's very important for Coldwater Mountain Bike Park and Ladiga Trail to come to fruition. It is going to bring tourists and people from all over the nation downtown to spend money. Don Hoyt, the brilliant city manager, has instituted a new city loan program that gives forgivable loans to businesses that meet certain criteria. So we're being aggressive in the money area of loaning people, loaning businesses money. Also, the city is now taking over some events, not running them, but assisting events, not controlling them. And that's going to be Juneteenth and the July Music Festival to start off with. And that's going to bring lots of people downtown spending money. That's what the whole thing's about. And if you don't think I'm affected, I am. This means something to me. So what we've done is we are fixed to really start developing this town. But again, the Great Recession knocked us out. Thank you.
Thank you.